Hi, guys. Welcome to Malifreebird's podcast, a health and wellness journey about getting in shape, staying in shape, nutritional guides. I'm open to that to help you all with that. And then mental health, okay? Because that is like one of the key factors I feel in order to have a well balanced life, which we all are working on, me included. My unique approach to fitness is tapping into the mind. The mind is one of the most powerful tools of the human body. Once we tap in and connect, anything is possible. I have been doing podcasting since pandemic, actually. I like my hat there, trying something new. Anyway, and I started in the pandemic. There was with Clubhouse that was out at the time, and that's how I started my journey into podcasting. So I'm grateful for those that have hung on with me through the years here. So now I took a little break hiatus, and now I'm back, and um my realm is, like I said before, we're talking about not only fitness, because to me that is a small avenue. Oh well, I'm gonna get in shape, hey, I got the muscles, blah blah blah. But I don't want to knock that, because I've been doing bodybuilding since 2008. But to me, fitness is more than just the lift of the weight. It's about an overall health and balance. Mindfulness is just key. So last weeks or 2 weeks ago, I started back, and I talked about fasting, and you can find that on all social media platforms. When it comes to podcasting, I'm talking about fasting, and the aspect of it, and what it entails, and then why one would want to fast. I did try that. I told myself I would, and well, anyway, I lost a little bit of my core. I'm excited about that. So, not just that, I had a lot of energy, and then I got back into my fitness regimen. So I'm really jazzed about my overall body mechanics when it comes to getting more sleep, drinking more water, eating better. I'm not that young anymore. So I feel like I have to just push a little bit harder than those a little bit younger than me. So sorry, guys. I mean, you got it, you got it good. Okay. You young folks. And I'm not a hooter. I'm a congratulator, but I still want to work hard on my own mental health and also physical health, so I can feel better. So anyway, today we're going to talk about the concept of love. I was doing some research on that, so I'm going to do a 4-part series. What is the definition of love, if you want to break it down? What is it? And you know, I hear, and I did some research out there, that a lot of my friends, family, we, me included, we would love, but what is it? So that's the first part series. If we can just dive in and find out, what is love? There's going to be what is love. They have love and family. When you were a baby, of course and you're in your womb, your mother's womb, they love you automatically. Usually that's most scenarios. And you just unconditionally love your parents, when you're a baby. And so that's where I'm going with the definition of love. Then we have family and love and relationships. And then finally, I feel, which is really important, is the key to love ourselves. And then we can actually love someone else. That should actually be first. But we're going to talk about the definition of love. Okay, let's get started. Get that break with that music. I hope I put it in. Not me. No. We're gonna we're gonna do that. We're gonna dive in with the music after. But anyway, all right, here we go. So, love. I am wearing the shirt, which is love. And you know who like I mentioned, there are a lot of people that want that. But okay, so I was doing some research and I saw that there share the love, there's attraction. You see a person, you're attracted to them. That is the beginning steps of feeling some kind of connection towards another human, right? And admiration. English is hard. I did graduate from college, but anyway, all right. Admiring another person, assurance of affection. Let's see, what else? Loyalty is a part of love also. So the concept is multiple is broad. To me, there is no specifics like love it's loyalty, connection, unconditional, but with society, I feel it is slightly conditional, especially in relationships where we're going to talk about that also. So I found some research from the dictionary, and it's broken down like quite a bit of the definition of love. And, what is it? A noun, a verb, what is the concept of it? Because I wonder what the, breakdown, of LOVE. What is that love? So yeah, the concept of love is very broad spectrum. But I wanted to share first the definition of like what it could be. So from my experience and learning about the definition of it, it is, you see a person, you find them attractive, and then it can build, so you approach them, or that's what it was. It was in dating. Well, I said relationships, but dating. You are attracted to them, then you approach them, hopefully. But I am learning that it is a challenge for people who are in the single life or even in marriage, some of them, where they have some challenges. You find the person, you're attracted to them, then you go on the dates, and you get to know each other, and you find some similarities, and then you vibe, right? And somewhere in the middle, there's like I don't know. The road is not going the same. Where's my turntable? Anyway, the road is not going the same. So that's what I wanted to talk about, the 4-part series. Okay, so I have to share. So I'm gonna put that in too. So I saw a couple as I was walking pup, and I was just so just smiling because this couple, this man opens the door for his lady, and and I said, hey, right on. That I don't know, I was just impressed with that because I don't see that too often, sadly. And that just breaks it down to how society is now overall. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. Tap in. If you do that to your person, woo woo, to you. But I just was like, go girl. And then she was like, right. And I'm like, hold on to that one. So, hold on to your person. Okay. So we're going to talk. So, okay, we're in 2026. Damn. In the early stages, from I'm a 70s. Hold on. All right. Sorry about that. DoorDash and my dog. I can't help it. Anywho, I am just who I am. Okay, what was I saying? So I'm a 70s baby. So what I was sharing or going to share was in the early stages or early era. Let's go back. Let's go back in time a little bit, from my experience and my education in the 1950s. Let's start there. What is that? 56, like over 30 years, over 40 years, over 50 years. Um, in society, there were a structure where the husband or their partner, their husband and would work, and their wife would cook the dinner, etc. And they would, I don't know if they did date night per se. They had family night. Well, even in courtship, let's go back, and they had courtship where that was the chivalry, opening up the door, maybe giving her flowers, something like that, and then showing up, showing affection. 50s was a very I want to say calming uh calming era, I guess. I'm doing a video, sir. Anyway, my puppy, I guess he wants to be on the podcast. So that's my dog. I'm gonna show. That's my baby. All right, sweetheart. We're talking about love, and I love you very, very much. Okay, as I was saying, in the 50s, the dating was more, I want to say, prevalent, where there were courtships. And I can't speak for that because I'm a 70s baby. So, just from my parents sharing with me how they connected, is where I can go off of that. And in my research that I've noticed that people have done that as well. So there's courtship in the 50s, and then I guess it was a transition 60s, more, women getting more independence as what they felt, instead of being home. Oh, I'm going to work, So I guess what I'm bringing up is there a pattern, right? So we had the 50s era where women were more, I guess, structured to stay home. And then, of course, have the kids, and then family life, and cook the dinner. And then the 60s, where they started to maybe have some women work also. And then, of course, we know about the 70s. We're going to turn up a little bit, and overall. So, so let's talk about that. We have the 60s era where they were homebound. The family dynamics was, I feel, secure. But were the women, I wish I could go back and talk, but were they really happy? Did they really feel their independence? And I don't know, because I can't speak for that. So, like I said, I'm a 70s baby, and I'm here, and we're in 2006. And then the 60s, where did that come from? So, how did one say, okay, I'm just curious, what made a woman, just want to explore more? I'm curious, why did the man support his person in the way that he knew how to do? right? What was it like? I wish I can dive on that, get a tap in and tell me that, because I wonder if that is how the dynamics have altered. With life, change is the only constant, but that's something to think about. So we will definitely do research in that. Well, I feel like that did play a little bit of a role in the change of dynamics, with the people and their concepts. So let's reel it back. So in that era, they had the structure of the house and the family dynamics. In the 60s, it trans formed a little bit different, okay, as far as women getting more independence and getting their careers, and the kids, what they had more sitters, I guess. So it's all entwined, okay. And in the 70s, we know that was a turn of error a little bit, but it was like, I'm free spirit. I am free spirit. But anyway, I'm free spirit. I want to be able to explore, drugs, rock and roll, and music. Dynamics change. So all of this can play a role where we are at today. Okay. So the structure of life changing. My question is, and I will do that next series, is how, I haven't even got to the to today where we're dating and how it is, and I've heard and experienced it's a hot mess. So I haven't even got up to that. I want to talk about the over here, and how did that play a role to us where we are at today, the era, and the family dynamics. Ooh, all of it plays a role um, to where we are at today. And so, dang, that is deep. And how do we move forward? I'm going to have a guest on, and we're going to talk about that on the next subject of is the past affecting us in love today? All right, so thank you guys. I'm actually going to pause this one because, like I said, I'm going to have a guest on, and we're going to dive into that more, talking about family dynamics, love and relationships, and loving ourselves. Today was a quick little definition, right, of love. Love. I know silent Love. Love. I had to learn that in school. E. There we go. E. Anywho, thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Health and Wellness with Molly Freebird's podcast, and where we're talking about the definition of love. We have the 4-part series coming up, so stay tuned, and thank you for joining me. Tap in, make a comment. You can find me on all social media platforms. Instagram, Molly Freebird, Facebook, my first and last name, Mollika Jaycox. And I'm also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean. So thanks, guys. Have a good day. I will see you. We're gonna talk about love. Stay tuned.